Hi, good afternoon, everybody. So, how was Divya's session today? How did you all feel? Please put it in the chat box. I was mind blown by a session. It was an amazing session, and I'm feeling so centered after doing the mindfulness meditation. I'm sure that all of you must be feeling the same. Good. So, what Divya was showing you was basically a meditation which grounds you in the present. And in fact, today is Independence Day. And so we promised you in this webinar that we'll get you independence from suffering. And if you look at Buddha, Buddha was a prince who lived in a palace. And one day he came out and he saw a lot of suffering in the world. People are suffering from disease, people are dying, and he couldn't take it. So he went into the forest, and you know what he did? He did mindfulness meditation. And that is what, through it, he attained nirvana. So he attains freedom from suffering. So both mindfulness and self-hypnosis can be a wonderful tools for stress management. They can relieve you of your suffering. And not only that, it can make you immensely productive and happy individuals. So it's really a good thing for you all to practice both mindfulness and self-hypnosis. So let me know how many of you all know what self-hypnosis is. Do you think self-hypnosis is woo-woo? Because it's got the word hypnosis attached to that. So everybody must be thinking it must be something woo-woo. What do you think about self-hypnosis? Please type in the...
It's taking control of your mind.
Yeah, it's hypnosis is basically changing the programs in the mind. You got it right. Kindly, all of you unmute the microphone and then use the chat. Put things in the chat. So I'd also like to know if any one of you has attended any self-hypnosis courses. Okay, Bhaskar says he's got no idea. Admin says no idea. Learning to focus on oneself. Okay, good. Ranjit says no. Okay. So today you're here because we are going to explore the fascinating realm of self-hypnosis. So we're going to learn some practical techniques, how you can use self-hypnosis for stress relief, and not only for stress relief, but also for personal growth. And we'll also dive into the power of subconscious mind and how you can tap the subconscious mind, right? So now tell me, how can you access the subconscious mind? Does anyone know how one can access one's subconscious mind? Okay, I'll share the screen first. Okay, so like I said, today we are going to delve into the fascinating realm of self-hypnosis. I'm going to teach you some of the practical techniques and how you can use it for personal growth and stress relief. We'll also learn how to tap into the power of the subconscious mind. Next. So now, how many of you know what self-hypnosis is? You can put it in the chat box if you know something about self-hypnosis, or if you heard of it earlier. How many of you all have heard of self-hypnosis? None? Okay. So it's a technique, self-hypnosis is basically a technique that helps you, to access a subconscious mind, when you become deeply relaxed, then when you deeply focus, then your subconscious mind becomes suggestible. So whatever commands you give to the subconscious mind, when you're deeply relaxed and intensely focused, then the subconscious accepts the program, and they change it. You can change the existing programs which are there in the subconscious. So that's what self-hypnosis is, a good technique to change the programs you have in your subconscious mind, because most of the programs which you have in subconscious mind may not be helping you much. Next. So now our mind can be likened to an iceberg. So only a part of the mind, our conscious mind is just a fragment, but the most of the mind is the subconscious mind. 90% of our mind is subconscious, and only about 10% of the mind is conscious. Then you have the pre-conscious mind, which is just in the surface, where the conscious mind and the subconscious mind interface with each other. And below the subconscious, you have the supraconscious mind. And supraconscious mind is the universal mind. Through the subconscious mind, you can connect to the supraconscious mind. And you also have the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is that part of the mind, which is also part of the subconscious. But what you do is when you see some events, some childhood trauma, like child getting raped in the childhood, or a person being exposed to a bomb explosion. So when you see a bomb explosion, these are memories which are very, very tough. And so what you do is you push those memories into your unconscious. And occasionally these memories surface. And then they cause those symptoms. You get PTSD symptoms because when you start thinking about, you're seeing a movie about bomb exploding, and then you have been in a bomb explosion, and suddenly the whole thing erupts, and you start getting the PTSD. So you start panicking and you get the symptoms. So that's the unconscious part. So these are basically the three parts. And self-hypnosis is basically you are harnessing the subconscious mind, because which is the 90% of the mind. It's an automatic mind. Next. So now, can anyone tell me how subconscious programs run our life? Put it in the chat box. So you know what? Most of the things which you do every day today are run by the subconscious program. Just now, Dhivya was teaching us about mindfulness. So, in mindfulness, we breathe unconsciously. We don't know we are breathing. We do all our daily activities, duties, all the time we're breathing. But when we start concentrating, when you start focusing on your breathing, like in mindfulness, when you start your mind, you put your mind, so you become present. And being in the present is bliss. Being in the past causes guilt, sadness. Being in the future, it causes anxiety, panic attacks, and all that. So present is the best moment you can be in. There's the best moment to feel bliss. So you have this program. So how do we silence this program? So subconscious mind, like if you see the slide, I told you it's 90% subconscious and then 10% conscious. And most of the subconscious, it controls the automatic behaviors. I said most of the behaviors we deal in daily are automatic behaviors. We have habits. We have a habit of getting up a particular time of the day. We have a habit of eating particular foods. We have a habit of smoking. And we have beliefs. Some beliefs have been given by our parents. Some beliefs you have got from our friends. Some beliefs you have got while working with the colleagues in the office. We have fears. All the memories, all the memories form the part of the subconscious mind. Your self-image, your identity, all these are part of the subconscious. So all your emotions also reside in the subconscious. And subconscious mind gets triggered by emotions. So I'll tell you how you can leverage emotions, when you're doing self-hypnosis during the course of the presentation. So now, next slide. So what are the mechanisms by some? In fact, Rajkumar alluded to me just now by saying driving. And first, driving is when you're learning driving, it's a very conscious, because you're so careful, whether you're stepping on the brake or whether you're stepping on the accelerator or whether you're stepping on the clutch. You're so conscious, and then your eyes are focused. You don't look right and left. Your eyes look straight, and then you're driving with all your consciousness. But after you learn driving, it's like breathing. You're driving the car, but you still you're talking to people around you. You're watching. You're listening to music. So you're doing everything, and you don't know you started from office, and you don't know you've reached your home also. So the subconscious has then taken over, and it has driven you all the way to your home. So, and many times what happens is, like, we want to take a flight, early morning flight, and your flight is at 4 o'clock in the morning. So you have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And you will be surprised that, you wake up exactly at 2:58 or 2:59, 1 or 2 minutes before the alarm goes off, sometimes 5 minutes before the alarm goes off. And that's because just before sleeping, your mind enters into a state called the alpha and theta state. So those are the states at which the subconscious mind becomes extremely suggestible. So when you think at that time, so subconscious records that, and it ensures that wake up 1, 2 minutes even before the alarm rings. So that's how the subconscious mind, how powerful the subconscious mind is. So just imagine if you're programming, waking up in the morning, and then what are the things? I mean, there are so many things you can program your mind to do. Amazing things. And that's what we're going to learn about in the webinar today, about how you can exploit the subconscious mind to the fullest. Next slide, please. So now, how do you access the subconscious mind? Because, we have a lot of subconscious programs which have been installed by our parents, like I said, our environment. We have learned a lot of things in the school, and these programs are still running our life. Some beliefs are very, very harmful for us, and they're not allowing you to progress in life. They're not allowing you to succeed. And certain habits which they have installed are still in the subconscious. So what you have to do is we have to access the subconscious to change these programs which we have installed in our childhood, in a later part of our life. So we have to access this subconscious. So like I said, we have to be in an extremely relaxed state to access the subconscious mind. And then you have to have intense focus. And then you have to give commands to the subconscious. When you're actually in a state, when you're able to access the subconscious mind, then you have to give the right commands to the subconscious mind. So when you give commands to the subconscious mind, the command should be specific. Like, you can't say that, I want a lot of money. You must tell, I want to earn $1 million, and you should also be specific we are today in August 15, by September 15, 2023, by 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. You have to be so specific when you give command to the subconscious mind. Now, I'll tell you why. Now there was a person who wanted, he didn't have a specific command. He said, I want to earn a lot of money. I want to see a lot of money in my life. And then he kept accessing his subconscious mind. And one fine day, it turned out that he became the cashier in a bank. So he was dealing with a lot of money, but the money was not his. The reason is that he was giving command to his subconscious. The subconscious mind gave him all the money, to count. But he had not told that I want 1 million rupees in my bank account on so-and-so date at so-and-so time. He was not specific to the subconscious mind was confused. So if you don't give a specific command to the subconscious mind will get confused. So that's why we have to do that. So I've told you about how you can access the subconscious mind now, and then during the course of the presentation, we'll be really accessing your subconscious mind. We'll be overcoming the subconscious mind. Now, the conscious mind is a critical factor. It's like a watchman. It doesn't allow things to go to the subconscious mind, but then you have to get rid of the conscious mind so that you can access the subconscious mind. So one of the things by which you can access the subconscious mind, like I said, is you have to have a relaxed state, and then the mind and the body should be still. You should make the mind still. Now we have done mindfulness exercises where the mind becomes still, but the physical body also should be still and relaxed. So for that, we have a technique called the progressive relaxation, which I'll be dealing with during the course of the presentation. So if you do progressive relaxation, when you relax the body, when you relax the mind, then you can give commands to the brain in different ways. So I'll tell you what are the different ways you can command the brain and how you can change the programs in your subconscious mind. So next So do you think, like, how many of you all think that our brain, like, when our brain is working at different frequencies, different wave frequencies? Can anyone say, like, from the group, put it in the chat box, what is the frequency you are in right now? What is the brain frequency? Like, we have frequencies like alpha, beta, theta, and gamma frequencies. So can anyone tell me, like, what is the frequencies we are in right now? Everybody, all of us are now sitting and then watching this webinar presentation. You are hearing the webinar presentation. I'm presenting the webinar presentation. So can you tell me, like, what is the wave? I don't, have you, are you, at least put it in the chat box whether you are aware of the brain waves or not. Bhaskar says 300 random. So, okay, fine, cool, no problem. So what I'll tell you is the brain waves right now are in the beta. So when you are in an active daily, when you're working and then we're doing normal things every day, we're in beta, we are in 15 to 30 hertz frequency. The brain is working on a frequency of 15 to 30. And then when you close your eyes, you go into alpha. That is, you go into a frequency of 8 to 14 hertz. And then when you get deeply relaxed, and when your subconscious becomes accessible at theta, that is about 4 to 8 hertz. And delta is 0.5 to 4 hertz. This delta frequency you reach when you're in deep sleep, you're in the delta frequency. So most of the programming, subconscious programming, which happens in the theta frequency. So when we do this self-hypnosis exercise today, you're right now in beta. From beta, you'll go to alpha, and then you'll be in theta. And you will either, if you wish to, you will give commands to yourself on theta, or I will give commands to your brain at the theta. So if you have your own intentions, then you can give your own commands. Otherwise, like, I will take you to a theta, and then I will clear out the stress which you are in, the challenges which you're facing in life, and make you feel calm and relaxed when you come out of the hypnosis session, right? So now, for self-hypnosis, how many of you all think imagination is important? How many of you all think that imagination is important for self-hypnosis? Put it in the chat box. Good. Mohan says that imagination is important. Yes. Anisha says yes, imagination is important. Yeah, imagination is very, very powerful. And you should leverage imagination to the maximum when you're in a self-hypnotic session. The more vivid and clearly you can think, the more faster would be your results. And it's like, so I'll tell you about imagination. Now just close your exercise. Let's do an exercise for a minute. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Exhale, relax and exhale. Now take another deep breath. Relax and exhale slowly. Now, your eyes are closed. Now just imagine a cut lemon. Or now it's lunchtime, so think about a hot biryani now. So what is happening to you? How many of you are salivated in the mouth? Put it in the chat box. Did any one of you all salivate in the mouth? Okay, good. So Karthikeyan says yes. Ranjit says yes. So quite a number of them have salivated. Like, just thinking of the lemon. The lemon is not there. The biryani is not there. But still you have. So this is how powerful the imagination is. Now I'll tell you another analogy of imagination. Now you have a wooden plank which is about 20 feet in length. Now I'll keep that wooden plank on a plain ground. Now I'll ask you to walk on the plank. All of you will walk without any problem. Now I'll take that plank on top of a 20-story building. Now I'll keep that plank in between two buildings. Okay. Now, how many of you all will be able to walk on that same plank which you walked when it was on the flat ground? Put it in the chat box. Mohan says no way. Rajkumar says never ever. Vikram says no. And that's because, like I told you, so this is because you are imagining fear that you'll fall off. What if you fall, like you will die? And fear is such a crippling emotion. And so through self-hypnosis, you can also deal with fear. So it's because, like I said, when you're walking when you can walk on the same plank on the flat ground, but you can't walk on the plank between two buildings. It's basically because you have imagined something that you will fall off from there, and that imagination is created fear, and that has crippled you, like from taking that action. So that's why I said imagination is very, very important in self-hypnosis. When you are doing a self-hypnosis and when you're giving command to the brain, when you feel like, suppose let's say you want to get a promotion and you are doing self-hypnosis to get a promotion in life, and you go into a self-hypnotic session and you do a promotion and you're getting promoted. So you should visualize so clearly that you're getting a promotion. It's an order which you're getting in the form of a letter, you're seeing it, and you're getting excited, and you should feel all the emotions which you normally feel when you get a promotion. So when you do that, the universe manifests that to you at a faster rate. But if you're not clear, and imagination is not clear, and if you don't know specifically what you want and you're doing self-imagination, then you're creating confusion to your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind wouldn't be able to create or give to you what you exactly want. So imagination is a very, very important thing. So try to have as vivid imagination as possible during a self-hypnotic session. Now, I already told that you can change programs in theta. Now, can anyone say, like, whether trance is the theta state or non-theta state? What do you think about it? So sometimes people go in religious events also, they go into trance. People meditation go into trance. Sometimes we ourselves, like, are in a trance when something very good happens in our lives. So what is the brainwave stage? Would you think we would be when you are in trance? So, okay, now, when you're in trance, you're basically in theta stage. That is, your conscious mind is no longer blocking or is not creating any reasoning. The conscious mind tends to create reasons like, oh, you're only a man, you cannot run so much. You're a man, you're limited, and you can only be able to do so much work. So that's how, like, the conscious mind puts limitation. But when you're in theta, you recross the conscious mind. When in theta, I mean, you can become limitless, and you can ask what imagination is. Whatever you imagine is what you can create. So you can be, that's the power of the programming of the subconscious mind. So most of the suggestions or the commands we give in theta, and we give in commands in theta. When you're in theta, we give how do you change the programs in the subconscious mind? Basically, there are three methods by which you can change programs in the subconscious mind. One is affirmation. The affirmation part is like, that you say, like, every day, each and every day, my life is getting better and better. Or I am winning a lottery. That's an affirmation. I am so-and-so. So that's an affirmation. So you can give affirmations to that. Or secondly is subconscious visualization. So you can go when you're in the subconscious state, you can visualize. Like so when I did this, when I was studying for my IAS examination, civil service examination, I deployed this technique of subconscious visualization. I would go into theta, then I would visualize me wearing a uniform as a police officer. And I did this repeatedly. And then what happened was one day I finally became an IPS officer. So you can, and similarly, like when I had to run a marathon for creating an Asian record, and then running without just by closing your mouth, and then like totally like, sealing your mouth and then running is a very difficult task, because most of the breathing takes place through the mouth when you're running a marathon, and 42 kilometers is not a short distance. But then I programmed my subconscious by using subconscious visualization. I saw myself crossing the finishing line. And so that's how, like, when you're in theta, you give whatever suggestions you want to give to your subconscious mind. You give it to your subconscious mind in theta. And then, so the programs which are there, you have programs which says can't do. You can change the can't do programs to can do. So that's the power of the suggestions, okay? Next, now we already talked about this affirmations, visualizations, and meditation. I mean, how it is, but then you should know the difference between affirmation, meditation, mindfulness, and visualization. Okay, because that's very important. So if all this, because all these techniques are techniques which deal with our inner being. So meditation is also, like, it's going inside. Mindfulness is also going inside. Self-hypnosis is also going inside. But there are some subtle differences as far as meditation, self-hypnosis, and visualization is concerned. So meditation and mindfulness, like, once again, I take the analogy of a sea. When you see a sea, you have waves on top of the sea, right? Now, these waves can be likened to thoughts. So the meditation and mindfulness, they, like, at the surface of the mind, all thoughts which are rising, you get to see the mind. And so what your basic intention is to create a sea which is placid, like a placid lake, a lake which is totally still. That's something equivalent to nirvana. So mindfulness and meditation, they deal with the brain waves to keep to reduce the number of thoughts, the volume of thoughts the mind is thinking, and totally to annihilate thoughts, or, like, to reach a level where thoughts don't disturb the mind. But self-hypnosis is different in the sense, self-hypnosis is a diver, like a diver in the ocean. Now we are dealing with the surface, but going inside the ocean. And then inside the ocean, you have a lot of beliefs, you have a lot of habits, you have a lot of things which are, like, are not self-sabotaging thoughts, which are not helping you to advance in life. They're impeding your progress. Now you have to deal with that. You have to go deep inside this subconscious mind. So it's like a diver who goes inside and then who goes and changes things which are not, which is not useful for us, which are impeding our success in life, which are not helping us achieve our goals in life, or it changes the habits which are harming our lives. So that's basically that's how the three different practices are, like, how these three practices actually deal with us. Next slide. And most of us think that hypnosis means losing control. They think, like, we are giving away the control to everything. No. Hypnosis is basically you get control of your mind. You get control of your subconscious mind. You are the one who's controlling the subconscious mind. I'm not talking about stage hypnosis. Stage hypnosis, you give control to the hypnotist. But here, you are the master of your subconscious mind, and you decide what is that you want to have in subconscious mind. What is it that you want to change in your subconscious mind? So it's not magic. It's not woo-woo. And it's not for the meek-minded. A lot of people think that, subconscious is this self-hypnosis or anything doing with hypnosis will only help the weak-minded. No, that's totally wrong. And then what self-hypnosis can do for you is, when you activate the subconscious resources, you can achieve all the goals. Like, you may be having goals like, okay, I'm right now a person who's earning about 10,000 rupees a month. So I must earn in the next 5 months 50,000 rupees. So your subconscious mind, by activating the reticular activating system inside your brain, it kind of like lets you see opportunities, and so you can pursue those opportunities and achieve your goals ultimately. And also it helps you solve problems. A lot of people have a lot of problems. So some people have problems, like, they don't know, they get stomachache, they go to a doctor, and the doctor says, like, okay, you're having stomachache, but they do all the tests and say you're totally fine. And that's where self-hypnosis can come in, and then you can solve such problems as well. There are so many things you can solve, but then I'm just giving you tidbits here and there. So now tell me, I want all of you are, like, not active. So tell me, how effective is self-hypnosis? Do you think self-hypnosis is effective or not effective? Put it in the chat box. I'm not getting the chat here. Okay. So, okay, now we'll go to the next slide. Okay, then I mean, chat. Okay, I got good responses. People said effective, and some people asked, like, how much time would it take to go into theta? To go into theta, it depends. Like the time of the day you're doing hypnosis, self-hypnosis. Sometimes if you do self-hypnosis after you take coffee, because coffee breaks the brain to produce beta waves, so you wouldn't go into theta easily. It would take very great difficulty to go into theta. So it might depend on the time of the day. And if you go into theta, you can go into theta very easily just before you fall asleep or immediately after you get up from the bed. That's the time or normal times you can go, but if you can relax yourself immensely, like the exercise which you're going to do today, I'll teach you how to relax. When you go into deep relaxation and you go to deep focus, and I'll tell you how to go into deep focus, then you can tap into your theta wave brain waves and materialize whatever you want. So a lot of people think like, whether, I mean, is self-hypnosis effective at all? Now, I'm just, you can see the slide there for healing, when compared to cognitive behavioral therapy and psychoanalysis, it was 93% more effective healing as far as healing is concerned. And for weight loss, a lot of people lose weight using doing self-hypnosis. And I said, like I already told you about self-hypnosis for healing. And today this session is all about self-hypnosis for stress management. So self-hypnosis is very good for changing habits, for people who are suffering from insomnia, people who are not able to fall asleep in the night, people who are overweight, or people who are suffering from certain ailments, or people who have goals to achieve in life. They want to do something, or people who want to do something fantastic in their lives and all that. So it all boils down to the thoughts you think, the beliefs you have in your subconscious mind, and how you can tweak and change those thoughts and beliefs in your mind. So everything becomes possible when you do that. So next slide. So these are some of the slides which talk about this. These are all very great people who talked about the subconscious mind. Earl Nightingale said, whatever we plant in a subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become a reality. So this is what I was talking about. And these words are coming from Earl Nightingale, a great man. So, I mean, so how true it is. The next is Bruce Lipton. Bruce Lipton was a guy who wrote this book, The Biology of Belief. And he says, subconscious mind is like a tape player. Like you had these audio tapes earlier, tape player. Until you change the tape, it will not change. So you have all the tapes in your mind which are running. The tapes are basically the programs which are running you every day. And if you change the program, then your life will be different. And then your subconscious mind is active all the time. You may be thinking that the subconscious mind is not active when you're sleeping. Subconscious mind is automatic and it's active even in the night. It's scanning, it's recording, it's whatever, your thoughts you thought just before you fell asleep, it's working on those thoughts. That's how, Edison made a lot of discoveries, because, he would think he would have a problem. And then even the discovery of the benzene ring, or the discovery of the DNA helix, Watson and Crick, they didn't know how the DNA would look. So one day when they slept and they woke up, and in the dream, they saw helix. And that's how they hit. And similarly, the benzene ring, when they saw a snake and mouth and the snake's head, snake's nail and a snake's mouth, So that's how they arrived at the benzene structure in the dream. So subconscious mind is working all the time. And so you can, if you put in some good things into your subconscious mind before you sleep, and your subconscious work, and if you give a job to do for the subconscious mind, can you tell the subconscious mind just before sleeping, tomorrow I want to know how I should achieve that, or how I should complete the task. So your subconscious mind would have worked all through the night, and it would give you the answer the next day. So like I told you, these are the pictures of mine. I mean, the way the subconscious works. See, I was 88 kgs. These are my pictures which was taken. I was 88 kgs. Today I'm 71 kgs. I'm 71 kgs less. And the second picture is of me and my wife. And this was in Tanjavur when I was SP Tanjavur, and this was taken in 1998. We had gone to Tirupati because my younger daughter her head had to be tonsured. So I was 88 kgs. And then this is the picture on the extreme right is my picture, which was taken last year in Valparai. So this is the transformation which I could achieve by using self-hypnosis. I could lose a tremendous amount of weight. And not only that, like I said, I did self-hypnosis even before I joined the Indian Police Service. I was in Delhi at that time, and I and my wife would live in a married apartment. And then I ordered for a book. In those days, this Pradeep Agarwal's books, only the newspapers were there. We didn't have mobile phones. Only the newspapers were there. I saw the ad in the newspaper. I ordered for this book, and this book came in, and I kept practicing that, and I kept subconsciously visualizing that. When I started preparing for the civil service examination, I had no hopes of going to the civil service examination. But then doing this, and then I started doing this, and then I thought I don't have enough time for preparation. Like, see the power of the subconscious mind. It connects to the supraconscious mind. It connected, and then it created mandal agitation. So the exam got postponed by 2 months as well, just for me. And so I had more time to read. Phenomenal, And then when the results came out, I came out in flying colors. So I had passed the Indian Forest Service examination, 6th All India rank, and the UPSC examination with 146th rank. So subconscious mind can do wonders. So in the next slide, I'll show you how I visualize my being an IPS officer. I also tell you, now, I run a half marathon, minimum of a half marathon every week, and I post it on the Twitter. So a marathon running is another thing which I took by doing this thing. And I also became an author. I never thought I could be a writer, and then I always wanted to be a writer, but then I never thought I had writing skills. But then I thought it was a handicap for me, but my subconscious mind, and the self-hypnosis helped me overcome. So I see a small video clipping.